What's up, y'all? It's Jaali from Until I Wake, and you're watching Radioactive.
What's going on, guys? It is Ian and Victoria here from Radioactive, and today we are joined by Jaali Cypher from Until I Wake. How are you doing today, Jaali?
Everybody, I'm good. How are you guys?
We are doing fantastic. Like I said
That
before,
is happening.
very, very excited to have you on. We've had many requests to have you on the show, so I'm pumped for this one. This is gonna be a good one.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
hyped.
Excited to be here.
So, to start things off today, we just want to start talking about your guys' upcoming album release called Renovate. What can you kind of tell us about that?
So, Renovate is the band Until I Wake's second album. And it is the first album from Until I Wake with me as the front man. I know a lot of Until I Wake fans out there are used to Cody. He did the first EP. Think the entire first record. He's been with the band for the last 3 years, and I took over in November. So this is the first project with me as a vocalist. We have three singles out right now. First one, Wholehearted. Second one is the Reverence, and we just dropped Renovate a couple weeks ago. We're set to drop Messenger, our fourth single, on November 8th. So I don't know if this will be out after or before, but either way, get ready. Fourth single coming soon. And then our fifth single drops in December with the album, and album date is set for December 6th. Super, super excited about this project. It's something that, like I mentioned, post recording when we first started, but I'm all about positivity. That's why I started making music. And this album is just an opportunity for me to talk about a lot of things, like mental health, anxiety, depression, panic disorder, like kind of painting pictures in the form of like songs of like what some of these experiences have been like for myself. And I wanted to use this platform and use this opportunity with all these fans watching and listening as a chance for me to kind of talk about something important so other people out there can kind of feel a little bit less alone. That's where the whole title Renovate comes from, is just rebuilding from some of those experiences that we've been through, to kind of be in a better position in life in general. So that's the whole kind of consensus of the album in a nutshell so far.
You had mentioned like using music as kind of a outlet to describe all of those things, like the anxiety and stuff. Who are some artists that you used to listen to or currently listen to that have kind of helped inspire this coming up album?
I would say one of the first people that I can think of is either Garrett Rapp from the Color Morale, or Jake Lurs, um, August Burns Red. He's one of the most powerful frontmen I feel like I've ever seen in a metal band. And Austin Carlisle from A Mice and Men, he was one of the very, very first people I like witnessed with this type of like energy. And then I think the message aspect comes more from like Jake or Garrett. They're always, talking about positivity. And it's funny because people can listen to metal music. If you don't listen to metal music, you might hear it and think it's just a bunch of angry people. But I feel like I've seen a phrase, it's like angry music for happy people. Like it sounds angry and it sounds scary, but someone like, Jake, from August Burns Red, he's this, big jack dude. He's screaming loud, and you might be like, yo, why does he sound so angry? And it's like these people are just using their passion in a different outlet. And when I saw that growing up, just being a kid, going through the stuff that I went through, I'm sure a lot of us have been through a bunch of shit as kids growing up. And you see something or someone like these people just yelling as loud as they can, but they're talking about positivity. And you look around and you see people crying, and people are just like feeling better. I feel better. It was just, that was a chain reaction for me growing up. So those are a few heavy influences when it comes to this album, where I was able to kind of get the confidence to talk about some of these things with some of those people.
I love me some August Burns Red, dude. August Burns Red is probably like one of my favorite bands that I used to listen to when I was in college. I don't listen to them as much now, but
Yeah.
when I used to kick it with my buddy Frank a lot and my buddy Nick, um, August Burns Red, A Day to Remember, Polaris. Those were the bands that we really
I
liked
love
as a
that.
friend group, and Wage War too. Um, I kind of fell off August Burns Red, but dude, Defender is my favorite song by
Mhm.
August Burns Red. That music video is fucking sick, and the breakdown. I saw a YouTube comment when I watched the music video, and it said, "Yeah, when that second breakdown hit, I I kicked my cat out of a window or something." I was like, "What?"
Yeah, that band is just different. The energy is there, and you can tell just how much. I feel like what got it for me was you could just tell how much some of these people like really care and like want to be here for the right reasons. And it's like you listen to a band like that and you see them live and like you get a chance to like meet them. It's like you're kind of hooked for life. And yeah, no, I have some lyrics from August Burns Red from one of their older records tattooed on me. It was the very first tattoo I've ever gotten. And it's just like, I guess that's just like how intense music has affected me enough for me to get something tattooed on my body. So whenever I'm going through some shit, I look at this tattoo and it kind of just recenters you, grounds you again. But August Burns Red is definitely one of those bands that can do it for people, especially me.
So tell us about the newest single, Renovate. And I know you kind of uh, gave us a little Cliff Notes version on what the album in itself is about, but what does Renovate mean to you?
Yeah, so Renovate is essentially the reason why it became the title track because it wasn't like we wrote the album, I guess, based off of a certain theme, but that song seemed to be one that kind of correlated with everything in the whole project. It was almost like a turning point in the album. I guess as like the story progressed, that was one of the turning points. And I guess one of the main themes for the whole album was based on this song. Cause, you know, when you think of the word renovate, you usually think of someone with like a hammer, like tearing down a wall, building something better, more stable. And essentially that's what it means, but it doesn't have to be singular to just materials and building a house. Like we renovate every day that we go through life, and sometimes in a bad way. Sometimes we don't not renovate in a bad way, but we grow in a negative way where we grow attached to negative behaviors, negative thoughts, negative actions. Just all of these things that influence our life tend to be somewhat of a new wall that we build, and sometimes we just it takes a long time to figure it out. But once you figure it out, there's still an opportunity for you to go back and knock down some of those walls that, or just some of the foundations of the way you're living your life. Because we all, you know, we all have different things that help us get through life, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. And I think that song, Renovate, in particular, like as a singular song, is just really all about. I want people to understand that, you know, we still have opportunities every single day. As long as you're breathing and you get up in the morning, you have some type of opportunity to change your life and change your mind for the better. It does take a lot of work, but that song is just kind of a testament to not only the people out there that are doing it right now and they are putting in the work, but the people who are like on the fence about it, the people who are sitting there like and their lives are a mess and they're just like, do I want to give up? And as someone who was there and didn't and got through it, what purity I found in finally reconstructing what's within. It's just a certain type of living that I want people to be able to feel. And no matter what you're going through, I want people to know like they're not alone. You can get through this. I did it. I really pray that you give it a shot too. And like I said, it kind of all just ties into not only the album, but what I feel like I stand for as an artist. When I leave this earth and I'm out, what I want my legacy to be is helping people with music, using that outlet. And then that song was just such a powerful song that it kind of just became the whole, it was the name of the album because that's what a lot of the album is kind of pulling inspiration from.
Dude, right on, man. To kind of, can I piggyback off of that concept, this idea of, hey, listen, I know shit's hard right now, but give it some time. You're going to get there. It's just going to take a second, but don't give up. There is a concept that my therapist kind of went into very deep detail with me. Sorry, I couldn't find the word there. Kind of struggling with that a little bit. I'm tired.
It's okay.
um, but there is this concept called touching grass, and what that means is it doesn't have to quite literally mean going outside and getting barefoot and going in the grass in your bare feet. It also means to do something to step out of your comfort zone to cope with anxiety and stress and depression. And I want to know, Jaali, what is something that you personally, as a person, what do you do that you kind of did and you were like, I never thought I would do this, but I really like it because it's helping me out a lot. What is something that you have done?
To get through those feelings in that time period, I could give you like a pretty like generic answer, like getting out of the house more, and like when you feel like you're laying in bed and you just want to lay there for hours and you're just doom scrolling, like force yourself to get up and like go out in nature. That is one of the biggest things that I feel like I was doing, but one of like I would say the most important thing that was way out of my comfort zone was like daily affirmations and meditating and kind of just stuff that I felt like might not really exist and wasn't real. Because it's like when you tell someone like, oh, I'm depressed, and most people are like, yeah, like, there's a lot of different ways to deal with that. And when I said I would meditate and I would essentially, you guys know who Kendrick Lamar is?
Yes.
Yes.
He's one of my biggest influences, and he's like an artist that I feel like I can look up to, and I have for a long, long time, especially in my rap career. And he is, without a doubt, one of the biggest rappers in all history of rap, especially right now. He's one of the biggest artists in the world. And he's hinted at schizophrenia in his albums. He's hinted at like, all different types of mental illnesses that run in his family that he might carry, that he's afraid of even talking about and facing. I saw an interview one day and someone asked him, at this level of fame and this level of just where you are as a human compared to everyone else in this world, like, how do you keep a level head of sanity? And that at the time was my biggest concern. Like, how am I going to stay sane? Because I feel like I'm losing my mind. I can't sleep. I don't even know who I am anymore. Like, how do I, and then how do I even ever, this was at a time when I was playing like for five people in bars. I was even wondering, like, one, how do I exist and how do I get through depression? And two, how am I ever going to get through it and become like a famous like singer and be able to go on stage and like face my fears to like do that? Like if I can't even just be a person anymore. So when I heard him say that, something in my mind clicked and I'm like, whatever he says, I'm sold. I'm in because this is Kendrick Lamar. He's the biggest artist in the world right now, basically, as far as rap. And how does he do it? How does he do it? And he said he wakes up every day and looks in the mirror and talks to himself and he like meditates and he just really like even when he doesn't believe it, he'll say these positive things just like, if you're really sad and you're really depressed, tell yourself like I am happy today, I am happy today, I am this, like I am successful, like even in my lowest I'm successful, I'm blessed, like all these. And it's just like when you're sitting there in your own head and you're not happy, you don't feel blessed, you don't feel successful, it's hard, it's way out of my comfort zone to lie to myself like that, like blatantly, and just like because I can't lie to myself, I know myself, and I don't really, it's not easy to try and trick myself to believe this, but I did that meditating, like I said, going outside, getting in nature, being alone, facing your fears. You're in the middle of feeling like you're going to have a panic attack and you might faint. Lean in. Like don't be so quick to just run away. Run away for a little bit if you have to, but don't run away forever. Like start to lean in a little bit and see what happens. Oh, I'm around my friends. If I pass out right now, someone will wake me up and I'll be good. But at least I can say I faced it. At least I can say that I didn't run out the building. And it's like those little things just add up over time. And just it took like a year straight of just countless times in those, like you said, touching grass, being in a place that was so uncomfortable, but it was like it just kind of feels like you're starting to live your life again instead of just being in these like I guess safe zones. But yeah, I tell that to everybody whenever anyone asks me like, "Oh, how did you get through depression?" I'm like, "Yo, talk to yourself. Look at yourself in the eyes in the mirror and like talk to yourself every day because the eyes, I don't know if you guys know this phrase or whatever, but they're like the window to the soul. If you look yourself in your eyes for long enough, you start to see something that's just I'm gonna sound like a hippie right now, but something that's just not like you. It's deeper than that. The part of you that is struggling, the part of you that's in here in your mind, like you start to see that and you have conversations with yourself in a positive way. Love yourself, lift yourself up, give yourself some credit, pat yourself on the back every day just for going hard and trying to do your best. Like, even if you didn't do your best, just acknowledging that and trying again tomorrow. Like, just all these little things add up. And it's like I seen therapy too. That's a huge, you just talked about therapy. Boom, right there. That's touching grass in general. You know how many people out there are too afraid to admit that they're sad and afraid to admit that they're like going through it. And I'm not going to talk to someone about the way I feel. I'm like, why not, bro? It feels great. Like, do it. The therapy, all that stuff is important, super important. But yeah, that was a couple of my touching grasses. Sorry to take so long explaining it.
No,
That's
that's okay.
Ian, do I have the next question? I forget.
Yes.
Actually, I'm gonna tangent quick if that's okay.
Go for
Yeah.
it.
Okay, Jolly. So you mentioned that you used to do rap.
Yeah, I mean, I
What?
don't used to. I still do. Like,
You
I
still do?
literally like.
Okay.
Yeah, this is my like. This is where I'm at right now. I'm always
Okay.
cooking, whether it's metal or rap or anything. Like, yeah.
Cool. So at what point did you kind of like, I guess not necessarily make the switch since you still do it, but when did you kind of start doing the metal singing?
I've been doing both for like I said, this was my very first tattoo. It started off with metal. I was listening to a lot of Disturbed when I grew up. My mom would play like rock radio in the car, and then it went from that to like Devil Wears Prada, of Mice and Men, August Burns Red, A Day to Remember, like all these bands in 2009, 2010 to 2012, 13. And then that period of time, I was in a band with our bassist Ryan. I was 15, 16, maybe. I was a sophomore, junior in high school, and I joined his metal band called A Breath Alive. So that was the very first introduction to like, I guess music was a lot of like metal. Joined the band. I'm a metal artist. Met one of my brothers, Tamar, and he kind of schooled me on like the whole I guess the background of like hip hop and some of the like greats and the golden era. And I just got addicted. Like while in this metal band, I'm screaming, but I'm also with Tamar making rap music. And then the band broke up in 2014 or 2015. And I was like, yo, there's no way I can stop making music. I love this platform. I love being able to like reach people with music. Like the people I'm looking up to are doing it right now, influencing me. Like I can't stop. So I became Jaali Cypher, powerful message. Like that's what the name stands for. And I've made like about I'd say anywhere from like 60 to like 80 songs. Like that's probably like my whole discography that's like out right now. It's probably like 10 or 15 music videos. Like the last music video I put out was I think 2 months before Ryan called me and was like, "Hey, last November, it was like November like 12th or something, and the music video I dropped came out like June, July." And Ryan hits me up and is like, "Yo, can you do music full time? Like I know you got a 9 to 5 and stuff, and you're making music with like Jaali Cypher and stuff, but like can you tour with us?" And I was like, yeah. Like all I want to do is tour. And I literally scream metal in the car. Like one of my son, he's four. One of his favorite songs is like The Bird and the Worm by The
The
Used.
used.
Yeah, he loves Bring Me the Horizon's new album. Top 10 Statues is one of his favorite songs. Like he's into metal because I've literally never stopped listening to it from the second I joined that band and when I was a kid. Hell yeah, go for it.
So just to kind of clarify, so when you say you have 60, 80 songs on your discography, does that include everything you've done with Until I Wake and even like before that and the rap and hip hop
No,
or
no, the
just
hip hop is
mostly?
Yeah, no. So the new stuff that's out right now, there's only three songs with me out. The Reverence, Renovate, and Wholehearted. There's only three songs with Until I Wake. And A Breath Alive, that first band we were in, there was literally, I think, only like one or two songs out with me anyway. Because it was the
Okay.
same situation. Ryan hit me up and was like, "Yo, it's actually my boy Clint when we were younger. We were in a garage band together, and Ryan's older brother Rick was doing vocals. He left the band. I joined A Breath Alive at like 16 and made like two songs with them. And we did like a bunch of cool shit together. And I was like, I fucking love performing. Like, this is the best. And then all of a sudden the band broke up and it was back to square one. So that was like 2015 to 2023 of just straight like making hip hop in my basement with this little Scarlett interface in my mic and these beats I found on YouTube, these beats I get from my friends going to play like local bars. I think the most amount of people I ever played for with Jaali Cypher was like maybe like 150. And then I joined the band with Until I Wake and we go on tour and we're ripping up the main stage at the Palladium for like 1,300 people. And it's like with Imminence, a band from Sweden that I've been listening to since like, I don't know, 2017. I'm like, this is insane. Like, I literally remember telling my mom, like, oh my God, mom, look at this guy. He's like super good at singing. He can play the violin and he screams while he's doing it. And I'm like, and look at this man. He's wearing suspenders. I'm like, he's got style. I'm like, this is the sickest dude ever. And that was in like 2017. And then they called me like last year, November, almost a year to date, is November like 15th or some shit. And he was like, yo, we're going on tour with Imminence. Can you do it? So it's like the whole, I guess you could say like the switch of going from hip hop to metal, it's kind of like an ongoing thing. I'm home right now from tour. I'm not about to start working on metal music. I'm probably gonna start making some hip hop. I'm probably gonna start playing some acoustic guitar, like doing something a little different because it's like using all of the different faucets of music is kind of like where I'm at all times. I never really know. I'm always switching it up.
I like this idea that someone can be a jack of all trades when it comes to music. Like, there's no, hey, we're just going to stick to one genre. We can do like multiple genres at once. Like, Slipknot did a song that was kind of more mellow called Bone Church, and it wasn't the typical heavy shit that I'm used to. It felt like a Pink Floyd song, kind of. And I really, really dig that shit. Dude, bands or artists who can do more than one genre, I love that shit. That's awesome.
I didn't even realize I didn't answer your question. Basically, that you said the 60 songs. Is that a yeah? So right now with Jaali Cypher, if you go on Spotify, YouTube, I would suggest YouTube. Go on YouTube. There's like my first album in like 2015, which is probably trash. Like my second album, which is probably trash. But like honestly, like in the last like 5 years, I feel like I've really gotten like pretty good. And if you go on YouTube, there's like probably like six or seven of my latest music videos, like, and then you can scroll all the way down to like 2015 and it's like one of my first albums. So it's just been, I've been consistently dropping music as Jaali Cypher for almost like 10 years. So there's a decent amount out there if anybody is interested in going to check it out.
All right, Jolly. So a little bit ago, you mentioned that you just got off tour with Until I Wake.
Uh-huh.
And I believe that was with Rain City Drive, right?
Yes.
So how did that tour go? What
Bunch
was
of
your what
degenerates.
was your favorite part about being on the road and maybe some like highlights from the tour?
Yeah,
Ooh,
no.
ooh, ooh, ooh,
Oh,
ooh.
what?
Send
Um,
it.
favorite restaurant. Like, I'm not talking like a basic fast food chain. I want like a hole in the wall, like hidden gem
Favorite
restaurant.
restaurant. Oh man, I don't know. I mean, we did go somewhere in Cali that was really nice, but I don't even remember the name. You know what's funny? I went to a place called Izzy's Fried Chicken, and that was on one of the last shows. It was in like Salt Lake City or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm definitely wrong. I don't think it was Salt Lake. But I rode a Lime bike up this hill, and it was a really, really steep hill. And I went to go get this fried chicken, It was like 2 miles away. I got the fried chicken, and then on my way back on this line bike, granted, it was sort of like raining. This line bike's fucking tires must have been made out of straight plastic because I'm going down this hill and I hit the brakes and just literally spin out of control. I fly off this line bike. The fried chicken goes all over the bag. Luckily, it didn't go in the road, and I still rode another mile back to the venue. And when I tasted this fried chicken, it was absolutely delectable. It was so like it was still crispy and still like hot and warm. So I'm just gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with Izzy's fried chicken. That's my final answer. I'm locking it.
Dude, right on. That's an awesome, like, I mean, it's not awesome, but like, that's
It
a
was
very
awesome.
memorable experience that you can take away from the tour, I
I
feel
gotta
like.
make sure that it's actually called Izzy's before I shout them out and I'm wrong. Because I took a picture. I took a picture of the venue with this like app that I have. It makes things look all grainy. It's called Ezel's.
Ooh.
Ezel's fried
Okay.
chicken. Yeah. And then this, ironically, is the hill that I went down because I thought the city looked so beautiful. And I took a picture of the hill only to my demise to not make it past like I don't know if I can zoom in, but this fucking car all the way down here, I fell right in front of that car. Didn't make it halfway down the hill. But yeah, that was moments before the chaos.
Moments before disaster.
But to answer your question, as far as like what was it like being on tour with those guys, they are just absolutely the most genuine human, like every band was the most genuine, just cool human beings ever. And it's like you get a tour package, you can only imagine. It's like a ratio. Some people get along, some people are quiet, some people don't talk, some people are just if you're dealing with like 30 different people, you're bound to run into somebody you don't like or something. And maybe just don't even vibe with. That was the weird thing. This whole tour, everybody was just great to work with, very easygoing, very polite, respectable. And then the shows were just like every show was damn near sold out or just packed corner to corner. The just the organization of everybody just kind of like being on the same page. I guess all the other things I just said, like being respectful, polite, it just made things so smooth that every show just went really well. We had some mic troubles at a couple shows, which is no big deal. Like that happens, but we all have agreed as a band it is probably one been the favorite tour. I've only been in the band for a year. They've been touring together for about three. They all said kind of the same thing. It's like you're doing 5 weeks, no matter what, it's going to be exhausting and tiring. But Rain City, just as a headlining band, just really great dudes. And then Belmont, those guys were really fucking chill to hang out with all the time. Nightlife, those dudes were really easy to work with, really chill. Hansel is a phenomenal singer. And then this band called Siamese. They came all the way from Denmark, and this was their very first time in America. And just like absolute monsters on the stage, funny dudes to hang out with after the show. They're always just hanging out at the merch table, like saying hi to fans and stuff. So, yeah, hands down, one of my favorites so far.
Awesome.
Hell yeah, man.
Shout out those degenerates.
All right. I think we have reached the fun question portion of the interview, right?
Let's
Yes,
run
we
it.
have.
All righty. Okay. Jolly, what do you think are more likely to exist? Aliens or mermaids?
Aliens.
Aliens?
Aliens do exist. Funny fact that the last movie I watched was all three of the Alien movies back to back. Like the last
Yeah.
like it was like wow, Prometheus, Romulus, and some other name. But yeah, they were all the latest Alien movies. And we had like a 15-hour drive, and I just watched one, and I'm like, what's the sequel? There's another sequel? But yeah, Aliens all day.
Hell yeah, man. For one night, who do you think you could outlive and possibly take down? Art the Clown from the Terrifier franchise or Michael Myers from the Halloween franchise?
Mm, Michael Myers is only coming at you with like a knife or like a rope or something, but Art might come at you with a whole ass chainsaw, like a scythe or some wild shit. I'm gonna say, here's the thing. I'm picking Michael because truthfully, I don't really know if I have a chance with either of those dudes, but I know at least with Michael, he's probably gonna make it quick and he's just gonna slice me once or like whatever, do a classic like throat cut or like I don't know, cut my head off. But Art, you like that dude will make the night. Like he will literally be like, "Yeah, I'm not killing you. Like I'm keeping you overnight, and you're the whole night you're getting fucked." So no, hell no. I'm not. I don't watch the Terrifier movies. I just started when I joined this band because these motherfuckers love like horror, gore, and chainsaws and killing, and I'm like, yo, not like they're weird, but that's I guess they're movies that they like to watch. I don't. I don't really like watch that kind of shit. I'm into like fucking like psychological thrillers or like adventure movies. Like, I don't know. I'd rather watch the never ending story, to be honest. But here I am watching someone get split in half with a fucking like a handsaw.
Ian, this
So
sounds a lot like you and me. Ian loves the fire movies, and I'm like, no, I'm never watching them.
the first one I saw was I don't know if it was the first or second, but he like splits somebody in half with the saw. And then
Yup.
I'm like, yeah, that's probably like as far as I'd go as far as watching a horror movie. And then they're like, yo, the new one's coming out. We're on tour. Like, do you want to watch it? I'm like, no, absolutely not. Not condoning this. But I literally just walked in the movie theater to go to the bathroom and they were all like waiting for the movie in the like in the lobby or whatever to start. And I'm like, I'm in here. So I literally just walked into the theater and I sat down. I was like, I'm gonna just see what it's about. Because I think I'm gonna walk out after the first 5 minutes because they said how bad the first 10 minutes was. I'm like, I'm probably gonna watch the first 5 seconds and I'm gonna leave. And I just sat there for the whole movie and watched it. And I don't know. It's just it's cool for the people who like the funny slashers, but I guess for me it was just like it's too much. I'm not into blood and guts and all that stuff, so it was a little too much for me. But
I hear you. That is it.
yeah.
Next question here. What do you think the most satisfying sound is? Some examples being like a hockey puck hitting like the crossbar or like a basketball swish or like anything kind of like that.
Mm, most satisfying sound. That's like a thinker. I'd probably have to say something with like a wood block. Like if you were to like take like two wood blocks and like hit them together.
Mhm.
I guess I think that is an instrument too, just two wood blocks sitting together. Like I feel like that's a pretty satisfying sound.
It is.
Mm. Gobble from the PS1 game. I don't know if you guys know Gobble. If you
I do
ever played
not.
that game? He makes a lot of sounds and they're all very satisfying. They're a little speaking of aliens, I think he's an alien and he rides around on a little screwdriver and he like twists nails and every time he twists a nail and completes a level makes a sound and it's very I would highly recommend if you want to listen to a couple hours of gobble noises might put you in the right headspace.
So, Jolly, you and the boys from Until I Wake are on tour, right? I don't know if you guys have an RV, bus. What do you guys have?
We have a bus with
You have a bus?
yeah with bunks in it.
Perfect. Okay, well, that bus breaks down, right? It's a
Yeah.
dark and stormy night, and your only place of refuge for the night until dawn is a haunted house. But here's the kicker: you are haunted all night until dawn by a dead celebrity of your choosing. Who do you want to haunt you and why?
Oh man.
Would
First
you
person I
like
think
to
of
hear the top
first
three answers?
first person I think of is Tupac. Because I'm just like, yo, I'm just gonna talk to the. Well, is he gonna like fuck with me, or is he gonna like
It's
just hang?
literally like what their personality was like when they were living is what they are like in ghost form.
I feel like Tupac's a valid answer. That man was chill as hell. I feel like if he wanted to scare me, he'd probably do something funny, and it wouldn't really be that like. I feel like he would just be fucking around with me. everybody's like, yeah, Tupac's like this thug or whatever. I'm like, that man was a sweetheart. I don't know. What's the top three answers?
Top three answers are Betty White. Betty White is the number
White.
one answer. I think
Robin
Elvis.
Williams.
Oh, Robin Williams. That was another
Ooh,
one.
Robin Williams is a good one.
Michael Jackson, I think. He was up there,
Yeah.
right?
Michael Jackson and Elvis were up there too.
Yeah. I feel like Michael Jackson's a hard one because I feel like that would definitely be that sounds like a top answer.
But
Um,
I haven't heard Tupac, so that's a good answer because I don't think we've heard any well wait a minute. I guess Michael Jackson's more
pop.
pop. Yeah.
Yeah.
So haven't really heard a rapper, so that's awesome.
Tupac. That's such a weird answer, but I guess I'd stick with that because it's like, what's the worst that I feel like I'm gonna get like he's gonna rap some songs for me or something? Like I feel like that'd be sick. I'd be like, oh, I totally don't want to hear this. Please don't do your whole album in full, please. No. But this is just God. I hate this song. Don't stop.
Oh, I love it. Great answer. Excellent. Well, I think that wraps everything up. Jolly, how about you just we'll wrap things up and you can tell our viewers kind of what you have going on in the next couple months.
Yeah, so just anybody who's listening, check out the record. It's dropping December 6th. If you haven't heard of us before, it would mean the world if you just give us a listen on Spotify. If you like the music, throw it on a playlist because this album is definitely something that means a lot to me, and I want it to reach as many people as possible. So give it a try, and obviously, if you like it, follow us on Instagram and stuff. But yeah, just keep your eyes open. We're doing a lot of big things next year.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. This was a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.